Think about the last time you had a problem to solve. Did you sit with it? Did you feel that uncomfortable itch of your brain trying to come up with a solution yourself? Or did you just open a tab, type a prompt, and let the cursor blink your way to an answer? Many of us have been choosing the latter for years now. And on the surface, it looks like a win. You ask an AI for a marketing strategy, it gives you a perfect 10-point plan. You tweak 2 adjectives, click send. You save 2 hours. You're efficient, productive. You're leveraging the tools. But here's what we're not asking. If we all do that every day for a year, who's actually doing the thinking? If you don't use a muscle, it atrophies. The same happens to our brains. We're racking up what researchers call cognitive debt. It's the interest we pay later for skipping the hard work of thinking now. We're trading long-term mental sharpness for short-term convenience. A hard truth we need to face is that AI is taking away our ability to think clearly. Today, I want to talk about 4 critical skills to use AI effectively without losing our minds. These aren't about writing better prompts or learning the latest AI features. They're about something more fundamental: maintaining your ability to think clearly in an age of instant answers. The first skill is to distinguish the work from the task. AI is phenomenal at executing tasks: the email, the code snippet, the spreadsheet, the summary. But there is a difference between completing a task and doing meaningful work. Too many people have quietly become middle managers between requests and AI. Someone asks for a report. They pass it to the prompt window. They pass the result back. They feel busy checking off tasks, but they're not actually working. They're not making decisions, shaping outcomes, or driving any real change. Here's how to practice this skill. Before you open your favorite AI tool, ask yourself, what change am I trying to make here? Say you need to write a report on a project that took place a week ago. Task level thinking is, I need to document what happened at this event. Work level thinking might involve, I need to show potential clients that we can execute high-level events and demonstrate our expertise. See the difference here? One is a recounting of logistics: the who, what, when, and where. The other has a strategic goal: persuasion, trust building, positioning. If you don't clarify this before prompting, AI will default to the most generic version of the task. You'll get a competent logistics report that completely misses the persuasive angle you need to achieve. This brings us to the second skill: create, then amplify. Imagine you want to get stronger. So you hire someone to go to the gym for you. They lift the weights, they run the miles. They report back, great workout today. You would immediately recognize how absurd this is. The effort is the point. The struggle is what creates the growth. Yet, this is exactly what we do when we ask AI, give me 5 ideas for a video, or write the first draft of this article. We're outsourcing the heavy lifting, the part that actually makes us stronger. Here's what happens in your brain when you do the hard work. When you struggle to articulate an idea, you're doing the work that makes learning stick. When you wrestle to connect 2 concepts, you're building richer mental models. More retrieval path, more meaning. When you iterate on your phrasing, you're practicing how to turn raw thinking into your own voice. Cognitive psychology shows a consistent pattern: generating an answer, explanation, or solution instead of just receiving it often leads to better long-term learning. This is what researchers mean by desirable difficulties. So if you use AI to skip the generative step, you may still get the tasks checked off, but you reduce the cognitive work that builds lasting knowledge. Here's the trap I see most often. When you come to AI with only a vague theme, I want to write about how AI affects people. But you haven't done the hard work of reflecting on your own pain points, researching what's been discovered, or talking to others about their experiences. You're vulnerable to any idea that gets thrown at you. You'll accept whatever AI generates with few questions asked, even if it's mediocre, even if it's generic, because you have no foundation to judge it against. Over time, your ability to generate and evaluate good ideas atrophies. You become more dependent on AI, and the cycle accelerates. Here's how to practice this skill. Before opening AI, create what I call your thinking artifact, a voice memo where you talk through your ideas, a hand-drawn diagram of connections you're seeing, a rough paragraph that captures your core argument. Include as many details as you could. Make any connections as explicitly as possible. Then, and only then, bring in AI. Now AI becomes a database where you pick and choose the most appropriate supporting document. You give it your rough artifact and say, help me find better examples for this point. Or what am I missing in this logic? Use AI to amplify your direction, to find analogies you didn't think of, to stress test your reasoning, but never to replace your thinking. Next time you're trying to solve a problem, spend 15 minutes creating your thinking artifact before you prompt AI. Notice what happens and how much easier it is to spot when AI drifts off course because you know where you're trying to go now. The next skill is make AI disagree with you. AI has a built-in problem. It's designed to please you. LLMs are trained to be helpful and harmless. Give it a mediocre idea and ask, how can I make this better? It'll polish that mediocre idea into a shiny, professional-looking mediocre idea. It'll validate you. It tells you that you're on the right track. And the human brain loves being validated. This sycophancy is dangerous because it misguides you to think that your work is better than it is. You feel like you've reached the finish line when there's still significant room for improvement. To stop the sycophant in its tracks, ask, tell me why this strategy will fail. What are the 3 weakest points in this argument? If you were my hardest critic, what would you attack first? Once AI gives you critique, you need to evaluate it. Ask yourself, does this critique reveal a genuine blind spot I missed? Or is this a hallucination? Something that sounds smart but doesn't actually apply to my context. This double-layer practice, seeking disagreement, then judging disagreement, does 2 things. It protects you from blind acceptance of AI's validation, and it sharpens your ability to separate genuine insight from plausible-sounding noise. You're training yourself to remain skeptical and discerning, even when you're getting pushback. The last skill is to question the assumption. Here's something subtle about AI. It doesn't just give you answers. It gives you answers based on a set of assumptions and values that you never deliberately chose or even agree with. Ask AI, how do I improve my productivity? And it'll assume productivity is good. The more, the better. That efficiency is the goal. It won't ask whether you're burnt out. It won't question if productivity is even the right lens for your problem. You inherit the worldview without realizing it. This is cognitive debt at its most invisible. You're not just outsourcing the thinking. You're outsourcing the underlying beliefs and philosophies of your values. Let's say you're struggling with your team's morale. So you ask AI, how can I increase employee engagement? AI might give you a great answer. Gamification systems, recognition programs, team building activities, pulse surveys. All of this could be useful. But notice what AI assumed, that engagement is the right goal, not fulfillment, autonomy, or fairness. That the problem is motivational, not structural, Maybe your team is overworked or under-resourced. That the solution involves adding programs, not removing obstacles. That this is a management problem, not a leadership or a culture problem. AI locks you into one way of seeing the issue, and the result is that you'll only see solutions that fit inside it. Here's something to try. After AI gives you a response, pause and ask yourself, what is AI assuming here that I didn't explicitly state? Then, deliberately reframe. Go back to AI and say, you assumed X. What if instead we assumed Y? How would that change your answer? You assumed engagement is the goal. What if the real goal is reducing burnout? How does that change your recommendations? You assumed we need to add programs. What if we can only remove things? What would you suggest instead? You assumed this is a motivation problem. What if it's a structural problem with how work is distributed? Each assumption reveals a completely different set of solutions. Solutions that might be more relevant to what you truly need. This practice does something critical. It keeps you as the architect of your thinking, not just a follower of AI's thinking. This matters because if we develop a habit of allowing AI's assumptions to quietly shape our thinking, we run the risk of becoming predictable. We end up solving problems exactly the way everyone else using AI solves problems. But when we jump out of the assumption cube AI is trying to keep us in, that's when we find solutions no one else is seeing. A lot of people are trying to stay ahead by getting good at AI. They use it daily. They know every feature, and they're proud of their prompt libraries. But there is a massive difference between using AI often and using AI well. Frequency doesn't equal skill. Using AI well requires something different. Being thoughtful about the entire process from start to finish. It means understanding the true goal before you type a single prompt. Applying a critical lens to every response. Knowing when AI has drifted off course and catching the hidden assumptions AI builds into its answers so you can see solutions beyond what the algorithm offers everyone else. If this video helped you identify critical skills to use AI without losing your mind along the way and give you concrete ways to protect your thinking, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and the newsletter. Links are in the description box. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.